Well, hello there. It's been a while, and today I wanted to share with you something different because I bought the Thomson Leng deck, also known as the Thomson Leng fortune telling cards, and I wanted to share the opening with you and go through a few of the cards just to sort of give you an idea what they're like if you've never had access to see them before. These cards were issued in 1935 in the UK, and the deck is named after the publisher of a British magazine, Thomson Leng. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And they had the cards printed, and they were given away freely as with a magazine called the My Weekly, which is a magazine targeted mainly at women. And the designs for this pack are really like a bit of a fusion of the Rider-Waite-Smith cards, the Tarot Marseille, and cards from Eudes Picard, who was a French occultist. Here's the deck. Oh, I'll cut over to my other camera so you can have a look. Sorry about that. There we go. So here's the deck here. But before I just open it, I just wanted to say I bought this deck from tarotcollectibles.com. Their service has been fantastic given COVID times and that I'm in Australia. And on their website, tarotcollectibles.com, you can get the booklet that welcomes with the Welcome to the Thomson Leng Tarot. And it's a reproduction of the little white book that originally come with the cards, and it gives you the meanings, and it gives you a little spread you can start working in, and the meanings that came with those cards at that time if you want to sort of work with those meanings. And it's, as I said, it's a very generous handout, which is on their website anyway. So here's the deck, and it comes in a little white box, and you can, I think, order a little bit better box if that's your desire. However, this is going to be a working deck for me, and I just sort of thought, well, I just need that because I'll just put it in a tarot bag. And the cards come with a nice little, that under there, I don't have the light, I got my lighting a bit weird, but it's got a lovely little poem. Through all the ages, seers have sought the ways of fortune, fate, and strife. They wrote their knowledge on the cards as signposts for the roads of life. And that's so true, because when I was in my teens and my mother read cards, and also I sort of went on to have readings with other readers in my late teens and early 20s, people read with whatever cards were available at the time, generally playing cards and then the Rider-Waite-Smith, and they wrote their own meanings on the cards that had come to be true to them based on their experience. So that's quite pertinent reminder of the true spirit of fortune telling and predictive reading. There's also a few sample cards which gives you another spread, the Royal Road of Life, the Easter Cross Method, and the Mystic Sevens. This is the back of the deck, which is really nice. And for me, the size of the deck is very compatible with my hands. I like to use small cards. And as I said, they're a bit of a fusion of the other decks. So I got my Tarot de Marseille and Pam's Vintage Tarot. And I thought, well, as I go through them, I can just sort of stop and do a tiny bit of a comparison. They're lovely. Love new cards. They're lovely and slippery. Love the feel of them. So here we have the Magician, which is very much like the tarot card, the other Magician. And the High Priestess. The Empress, very similar. She has wings, which I think is really nice. I haven't had a look at, you can have a look online of Eudes Picard's cards, and there may be, I'm not that familiar with them, but there may be wings on his Empress. Then we have our Emperor and our Great Priest, and then we have the Lovers, which is if you look at the lovers in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's always the 2 that a lot of people would be familiar with, and then you have the lovers card. Well, I'll just use the one on the box, 5, 6, with the Marseille style decks. And as you see, sorry about that, that's my phone. As you see, that's if a fusion replica, re-envisioned is probably the word for it, with those cards. Moving along, you've got your Chariot, the same, and your Justice. She is 8, which is the same as in Marseille, over Rider-Waite-Smith having her Waite had switched her to 11. So that's sort of something I like, because I read with Marseille, but it's all about personal preference as you as a reader. We go there, and our Hermit is the same. And our Wheel of Fortune, and our Strength, our Hangman. Our Death is very similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck compared to our dear fellow in the Marseille, where he's more Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, although he is going in a different direction. So that's cool. Maybe skeletons would be a bit scary for people in the 30s. And then we have our Temperance. Our Devil card is traditional with all 3 across the board. There's your Marseille Devil, and there's your Rider-Waite-Smith Devil. So they've kept in, re-envisioned that the same. And your Tower, your Star, your Moon, and your Sun. Your Sun is very more Marseille with the 2 children. Now, in all this deck, over the Sun with Rider-Waite-Smith is the dear laddie on the horse with, I had to think for a minute because I've got a lot of cards. But in this deck, everyone has clothes on because it is 1935. So must have been very safe in a ladies magazine to have that. That's cool. And then you have your Judgment, and here you have your Fool. In your the Fool is 21 in this deck. I think that's to do with Picard's influence. Whoever did the drawing and the number of it, or the artist that did it for the magazine, where Waite and Marseille have him towards the end. I quite like this Fool, and the numbering doesn't bother me, but it may bother some. However, the numbering bothers me when I'm reading Waite's deck now, because I prefer Justice to be earlier in the deck. But they're just distractions, that's all. So I'm hoping that won't be a distraction for people. I don't know. It won't be one for me anyway. Then you have your World. So all goes very well with that until you get to the Minors. And with the Minors, I'll just put them over there. You have your Ace of Cups and your Ace of Wands, Ace of Coins. I'll just do it with the aces. Where's my Ace of Swords? There we go. And with the Ace of Cups with this deck, sorry about the lighting, it's, even though the cups we mainly associate with water, and they have little symbols of air. What in symbology is associated with air, like your butterfly, I'll have them out just handy. And there you have your 2 of cups the same, and your 3 of cups, and your 4 of cups, and your 5 of cups, your 6, your 7. Your 8 of cups is different. Instead of walking off like in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, where's your 8? They're sort of, they've got him sitting there, and the butterflies there. So for me, the symbolism isn't distracting, but someone may find it, but I don't think it is distracting. And either way, to me, that's wishing for something else, but it's up to you. How do you want to interpret them? And there's your 9 of cups and your 10 of cups, which is quite nice. Your pages are very different. They're more to do with Picard apparently, and your knights walking through water. There is water. Your queen sits on a beach, which I think is really nice, because in my opinion, the way I read, they're often more grounded and working beside the scenes, where your king of cups is floating on water. So then we have the coins, or pence as they're called in this deck, and very similar, as you can see, to your Rider-Waite-Smith, very envisaged as such. Maybe the page, no, it's very similar, so that's quite the same. And I think the swords are, I can't remember what the swords are, but they've got slightly different elements if you sort of start digging deep into it. Like if you've started writing out your readings and stuff like that and working with your symbology, you'll notice that the swords have not air, well, they have lots of clouds there, but they have water elements. But then the 6 of swords, there's a water element anyway, so they're very similar as well. It's a stepping stone bridge, leaving the past and going to the future. And there's your other one. So there's some, clearly, I don't know, I would read that in swords there's an element of emotion anyway, because they're generally conflict and troubles and challenges anyway, and you don't get those things without an element of water. So I can understand where Picard is coming from with that. And there's your 8 and your 9. Got the ball and chain with that, instead of the bed of the Rider-Waite-Smith. And then you have the 10 of swords, which I really like. I was out having a walk this morning, and I was thinking how when that card comes up, I'd be saying, well, the vampires have had their go at you. Now it's time to sort of get up and move on, even though there's no one there. But I just sort of, it just come into my head as this flash, because I was thinking about this card and thinking about the bat and the symbolism. And I'm pretty sure bats in the medicine cards are a symbol of change too. So I think that's quite cool. And our page of swords, our knight of swords is going through water, and the queen of swords sits up on, they sit on their thrones. Here we have the wands with an element of fire around them. They're called rods here instead of wands. And also, I'll just move them. Just gives you a bit of an idea how they're a fusion of the 3 decks. This card here is very Picard, with the symbolism and the Atticus there. I don't know a lot of Egyptian symbolism as I should have, but they sort of make sense to me to read with them. And the 6 of rods is the new day. That would be the 6 of wands. Very different to getting along with your wands and the man there. But to me, there's elements of new dawn, new beginning, success, like the sun's going to come up again. And there's your 7. What is the 7 of wands here? Okay, yeah, I guess there's that will be an interesting one. Whether in predictive reading, there's a discipline of knowing your meanings as well as looking at the symbolism. So it just depends if you're an intuitive reader or a predictive reader, where you've often learnt your meanings, but you also have the image, and then whatever speaks to you, whether it's, some people have their guides, but whatever comes into you intuitively, also reflecting what other cards are around them. But this is just a look at the deck today. But squares are challenges to me, sitting there ruminating about challenges and whether you'll get through it, and knowing that you will. So I can, and there's your 8, which is very different to the 8 in Waite Smith's drawing. So I have to think about that one for a little bit. I'm looking forward to really working with this deck. And here's our 9. So once again, this is Picard's influence over Waite Smith. And our 10 here. So it is, they are different. There'll be aspects of them different, but not too distracting, because that is still intricacy, and they're moving along, shifting camp. And I think that's a symbol, maybe a Celtic symbol about the hearth and the home and stuff, so it could be connected with the home. I'm just trying to go from memory with that, so I'm happy to be corrected. And then you have your page and your knight and your lovely queen and your king. So that is that lovely deck. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about the background of the Thomson Leng deck as well, there's a wonderful blog I follow. This is where I first saw this deck, and it's and I've covered it for years until finally it manifested and it turned up. Would you believe? And it's Auntie Tarot, one word, at wordpress.com, and there you will find a plethora of information about the deck as well. It's a wonderful blog with so much in it. It's a fantastic blog. So there you have the deck, and I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough and a little bit of a comparison with the cards. Sorry it was a little bit of a whole messy thing, but it's something I wanted to do because I want to start working with it, and I didn't want to start working with it until I'd sort of had a chance to share the deck. So thanks for watching. I would love to read your comments on what your thoughts are on it now, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.